readers, I'm Liz, and today we're reading chapters 4 and 6 from Linger, which is the sequel to Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. This chapter is written from Grace's perspective. So she's just chilling at home and her dad calls and asks if Sam's there and he's being all nosy. And she's all like, hey dad, get out of my business. You don't even know what's going on. And he's not even here. He's not even here, which is the truth. For now. I enjoyed that Grace has these kind of, not really cliche lines, but they're just kind of, I don't know what to call them, but you know, where they're like, oh, my parents don't understand. They're just, you know, these old people, they don't understand what it's like to be a teenager. And it's like, but you're attached to the hip with your boyfriend, and so he kind of has the right to ask you if he's there or not. Finally, after 3 chapters have passed, we get to see Sam and Grace interact. And oh my gosh, he is kind of like the St. Clair of this book. Me and my friend Alexi were talking about this, and we decided that he's kind of like St. Clair from Anna and the French Kiss with his guitar, and he's all like, well, did he have a guitar? I don't know. But Sam, he's just like the smooth talker. He's just really sweet, really nice, and really cares about other people, and just is an all-around good human being. I thought it was kind of strange that she mentioned her life pre-Sam. I feel like she's a very OCD-ish kind of person, like not super OCD, but like she's very attentive to details, and you know, she has to get these New Year's resolutions done, and I feel like she was like, yeah, I had all these things picked out before he came. Like, she's saying that she's going to change all these things, like her, where she wants to go to college, and it's like, no, you probably won't. You probably already have your heart set on which college you want to go to. Don't change for no man. Also, like, I don't see why she has to, like, pick up college based on him, because he doesn't really have a permanent job, and so he could pretty much work at a bookstore anywhere, and, you know, they would probably hire him, because, like I said, he's a very decent human being. And I really hope Sam goes to college, not because Beck wanted him to or because he's smart, but like for the social interactions. Like, school really helped you like go up a notch on the social interaction, education, you know, all that kind of stuff, because like, yeah, you learn social interactions from home, but at the same time, there's so much more happening at school. You have friends and people your age all the time around you, and so it's just kind of like a different social scene, and just him hanging out with Grace is, it's a little bit, and he has a couple friends here and there, but it's like, you really just need to, like, psychologically just throw yourself into the social arena, I guess you could say. And I like how Grace talks to him about the, like, being a part of the pack and all that kind of stuff. She's just like, hey, you're a human now, and you don't need to always be worrying about them. There's always going to be that person who rises up and is kind of like the alpha dog, or whatever you want to call it. And I feel like she's being right with that. Like, even though it's kind of a selfish thing on her part, at the same time, she's being very truthful, and she definitely has his interests in mind. By the way, I decided to pick songs for each chapter, and sometimes it's part of a chapter, because in this chapter, it goes from Grace to Sam within the same chapter. And so the first part is, I picked, let's see, it is Baby It's Fact by Hellogoodbye. And like I said, this chapter is split into 2, and so now we're on to Sam's perspective. I know he talks a lot in the first part about how his goals have changed from, like, you know, when he was younger, he was like, yeah, I wanted to go to college, and I had all these dreams and aspirations when I kind of knew I was becoming a wolf, but like when he became a wolf, he was like, yeah, I have to let go of these things. And so now that he's kind of let go to that stuff, he's like, oh, I have to get it back, and it's just not normal for me. And so it's definitely really hard for him. And being human is very complex. He has to like figure out his future, what he wants to do, how much he needs to make a year, all that kind of stuff. And when he was a wolf, he just had to worry about eating and surviving and making sure that his pack was okay. The song for Sam's perspective in chapter 1 is These Are Hard Times by Needtobreathe. On to chapter 5. This is from Cole's perspective. At the beginning, I was wondering if he was a wolf or a human, or he's probably switching back and forth, kind of like how Sam was talking about. They really don't have control over like how they change and when they change when they're new wolves, and so I'm sure he was just like freaking out going back and forth. That would seriously wear me out. So we get to see Cole the night he becomes a wolf, not really becomes a wolf, but when he's like, I guess, introduced to the illness, disease, that kind of thing. I don't know what you would call it, because he's given a pill and that was kind of weird. And now we know that he was kind of a drug addict at the time. Well, really a drug addict. And so we get to see him go through like the pre-wolf illness stuff. That's what I'm going to call it, because he's kind of like falling out on stage and he's letting down the band. I've written down in my like little notes that when he takes gets the pills from the girl, it's like, this isn't going anywhere good, and seriously, it didn't. This was a very short chapter, so the song for this chapter is Darkness Rising by The Matches. Chapter 6. This is from Grace's perspective again. So Grace and Isabel are in the woods and they're looking for wolves. I guess Isabel had seen some in her backyard, and so they went back there. And they actually find some pretty neat things. They find like a statue and this mosaic thing on the ground. And I would have liked to have gotten a lot more of the details of the mosaic. It was just kind of like, hey, there are stones on the ground and it's a mosaic, but everything else had detail, and so I was like, why not that? Why not? It sounds really pretty. I love Isabel's joke about feeding the wolves babies. I mean, who doesn't love a good dead baby joke? Also, after that, the carnivorous deer and some of their other theories were pretty ridiculous and hilarious. Also, I thought Grace would be the one begging for coffee, kind of, because she's the one who's kind of turning into a wolf in a way. And so it was, I know Isabel's all about, you know, being nice and warm and being somewhere comfortable, but it was just kind of odd that Grace was like, yeah, let's go explore, let's go in the backyard and find some wolves. Let's go after them now. When they find that wolf, I got really scared because I was like, don't go near it, don't go near it, don't go near it. And I was sitting there like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Because I seriously thought it was gonna jump up and attack. Did I scare ya? And I know she's all compassionate about the wolves, but that's kind of gross that she's all touching the wolves and she's like, yeah, let's bury it. I mean, are there no vultures in Mercy Falls? I mean, I know that it was once human, but at the same time, now it's a wolf and it died as a wolf, and so it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, you really shouldn't be touching it. It's probably got all sorts of crap all over it. I don't care if you have gloves on. That's just gross. So that is the end of chapter 6. Our song for this chapter is Song About Monkeys by Charlie McDonnell. And I know what you're thinking, Liz, this is not about monkeys, this is about wolves. But, if you listen to the song, he talks about his love for monkeys, and I feel like if Grace wrote a song about any animal, she'd write it about like almost the same thing, like with the same feelings, but about wolves. And so it kind of, you know, goes along with that. So I hope you have a great day and keep reading Linger. And don't touch dead animals.